And finally, we are exactly today 6 weeks from the Washington State August 4 primary election. I can't believe it's coming so fast. And there are five Supreme Court races on the ballot this year, which has never happened before. It's unprecedented. And those are more important than ever, of course, with the fight over the income tax being something that our state's Supreme Court is likely to be weighing in on. And my colleague Tim Clauser has been spending quite a bit of his time studying the five Supreme Court races, all the challengers, and interviewing as many of them has been willing to respond to his interview request. So we want to share part of an interview he did today with one of the candidates for the District 5 position currently held by Justice Theo Angeles, who was appointed by Governor Bob Ferguson back in March. So here is part of Tim Clauser's conversation with Greg Miller, candidate again for position 5, and specifically about potential conflicts with campaign donations for the sitting justice to those who have put him into that position.
You brought up the appointment of Theo Angeles, and I know there's been some questions around there, as well as Justice Colleen Medley, kind of with their recent appointment, the timing of the income tax, and kind of support that they have from the AGO and Governor Ferguson and Senator Peterson. With Theo Angeles, he's donated to the governor's campaign in the past. He's donated to Peterson's campaign, and all three had worked together at K&L Gates. I was wondering, aside from the general appointment process, which could be made, that argument could be made with any appointee, not just Angeles, or his
Well,
relationship.
not necessarily. And let me give you a little bit of background that maybe you don't have. My first judicial boss, Judge Gross, second, actually, because I had an externship with Judge Kuhnauer when I was in law school. But Judge Gross had been the legal counsel for John Spellman when Spellman was governor. And so I learned a lot about what the legal counsel of the governor does and what their role is in appointing. And they basically had, and he talked about how before and after his term as legal counsel, a continuing relationship with other legal counsel to the governor to basically put into a place, keep it out of the political process and have what amounted to pretty much a merit selection type process, so that it was not politicized. It was very intentional. It went from, it had Dan Evans and Rossellini and, Gardner. It didn't matter. It didn't matter if they were an R or a D. They played it the same way. And he invited me to put my hat in for his seat when he resigned. And I talked with the then legal counsel, who's our current attorney general.
Nick Brown.
And what my recollection, and this was 10 years ago, 12 years ago, was that they were still doing the same process in Governor Inslee's process at that point in Governor Inslee's terms. So that if to the extent that they're not doing that now, that would be a change.
Now, my colleague Tim Clauser again is giving equal opportunities for all of the candidates, either side. Of course, Supreme Court races are nonpartisan races, but you can tell by where campaign donations come or political activism from the past, where most of these candidates come down. And he's also going to have an interview with candidate Dave Larson, the conservative candidate for position 5, who's garnering a great deal of campaign donations this time around. You may recall when he ran in 2024, he came pretty close to earning that seat. So running again this time around, and there's a lot of focus on candidate Larson. So Tim will also have that interview, and we'll be sharing that with you in the next couple of days here in Washington in Focus. Thank you for watching this Tuesday, June 23rd episode. Check out our Center Square Washington page for these articles and more. I hope to see you again on Wednesday.